The void between the stars was silent, save for the faint hum of alien warships converging above the shattered remnants of a once proud human colony. High command of the Zyrathian Empire had declared victory before it had even begun. Their generals, smug and confident, surveyed the battlefield with eyes that had never known fear. They laughed as they executed the captured human commanders, broadcasting their arrogance across the sector. The galaxy had grown accustomed to underestimating humanity, and the Zyrathians assumed this world would be no different. But they were wrong. On Earth, in a concealed orbital station above the Pacific, the highest council of human leaders watched the events unfold with grim faces. Every detail of the executions had been streamed to their intelligence networks. Each laugh, each cruel twist of the blade was recorded and analyzed. Protocol Zero, a contingency plan buried deep within classified archives for over a century, was activated silently. It was not just a military response, it was a declaration that humanity had reached a tipping point, that the age of subservience and caution had ended. From the orbital station, a pulse radiated outward, invisible to even the most advanced Zyrathian sensors. It traveled faster than light, a silent messenger of annihilation reaching deep within the colonies scattered across human-inhabited systems. Ancient war machines, relics from a time when humanity had not merely defended but dominated, began to awaken. They rose from their secret harbors on moons, asteroids, and hidden dry docks, their hulls scarring the dark of space with metallic gleam and the promise of fury. The Zyrathians had counted on fear and disorganization to keep humanity contained. They believed that without centralized fleets, humans would crumble under pressure. They could not have been more mistaken. Across thousands of light years, communication relays opened with impossible speed, synchronizing the awakened war machines. Fleet after fleet, dormant for centuries, joined the network. Protocol Zero was not chaos. It was a symphony of destruction, orchestrated by a species that the galaxy had never truly understood. On the front lines, Zyrathian admirals noticed the first anomalies. Battleships that had been abandoned for decades suddenly powered up, shields shimmering with energy signatures that were impossible to decipher. Human AI cores, long thought deactivated, blinked online. The ships moved as if guided by a singular mind, encircling Zyrathian vanguard units before they could react. Aboard the flagship Varinthian Pride, General Karash laughed one final time as he ordered the bombardment of the last human defensive outpost in the Theta sector. His laugh was cut short when his communications console flared red. A voice, calm and mechanical yet unmistakably human, echoed through the command bridge. Protocol Zero is active. You will regret your arrogance. Before he could respond, the Varinthian Pride shuddered violently. Magnetic mines programmed to bypass conventional shields tore through the hull. The Zyrathian crew scrambled in confusion as escape pods were rendered useless by electromagnetic interference. In under 10 minutes, a ship that had been the pride of the Empire was reduced to a drifting carcass, silent against the backdrop of stars. Meanwhile, humans on the ground on colonies that had seemed lost executed precision strikes with cold efficiency. Alien troops, trained for centuries to suppress rebellion, found themselves overwhelmed by tactics that were unpredictable, adaptive, and brutally effective. It was not just technology, it was instinct. Strategy honed through countless conflicts, a raw, unyielding determination to survive and reclaim what was theirs. High above the chaos, Earth's orbital station deployed the final measure of Protocol Zero, the Aegis Array, a network of satellites armed with exotic energy weapons capable of crippling entire fleets in a single strike. The first wave of fire swept through the Zyrathian capital ships like a storm, tearing apart their shields and rendering navigation systems useless. The Empire's soldiers had laughed at human primitive defenses. Now they were paying the ultimate price for that arrogance. In the midst of the carnage, a lone Zyrathian envoy, surviving the initial onslaught, tried to send a warning to their home systems. Their message, fragmented and panicked, described horrors that would be studied for generations. Ships older than the oldest star maps, piloted by humans who fought not for conquest but for vengeance, moving with a coordination that seemed impossible. By the time the sun rose over Earth, the Zyrathian Empire's reputation of invincibility had been shattered. Hundreds of their fleets lay in ruin across multiple systems. The galaxy had learned a lesson, one it would never forget. Humanity was not a race to be mocked or underestimated. The survivors of the executed generals, Now prisoners themselves in orbiting human warships stared in disbelief. The humans had arrived with the force of legends, machines of war that combined centuries of ingenuity with raw, untamed resolve. The galaxy had assumed weakness. Instead, it had encountered wrath. On the command deck of Earth's orbital station, Admiral Soren observed the aftermath with quiet satisfaction. His crew moved efficiently, repairing ships and preparing for the next phase. Protocol Zero was more than a strategy. It was a testament to humanity's resilience. For centuries, humans had been underestimated, laughed at, dismissed as irrelevant. Now their laughter would echo across the stars, not of fear, but of triumph. Earth itself seemed to hum in approval, its blue oceans and green continents reflecting light across space, as though endorsing the reckoning. Humanity had endured executions, massacres, and betrayal, but they had survived, and in survival they had found something more potent than any weapon: the certainty that when cornered, humans did not falter. They struck, and they struck without mercy. By the end of Protocol Zero, the galaxy knew a new truth. Laughter at humanity's expense was dangerous. Cruelty and arrogance had been punished, not with diplomacy but with decisive, unyielding force. And somewhere deep within the heart of Earth, the original architects of Protocol Zero smiled quietly, knowing that the species they had long protected had finally embraced its full, terrifying potential. The stars themselves seemed to pause in witness. The lesson was clear. Humanity would not only survive, they would dominate when provoked, striking with precision and inevitability. Protocol Zero was a warning, a promise, and a declaration. The galaxy had misjudged the humans of Earth, and it would never do so again. And in the endless black of space, a single, human-engineered battleship cut through the remnants of the Zyrathian fleet, leaving behind a trail of fire, silence, and a message that needed no words. Never underestimate the wrath of Earth.